Hey y'all, hey. Now, I know I said I was going to be better last video, but time showed that that was a lie. Like, I'm posting this video when the new episode literally came out today. So, just pray for me, y'all. That's all I can say. But anyway, this episode here, which is episode 8 that I am reviewing, baby, we got a lot of answers to our many questions. Now, true, we still got questions, and we still got new questions, but see, we got quite a bit of answers, okay? This episode was loaded, all right, and we had to unpack, okay? We had to unpack. See, that is me unpacking the box and pulling the stuff out. That's what we have to do today. So, I'm going to try to keep the summary short, but like I said, it's a lot that we have to discuss. So getting right into it, because why waste time? Right now we are getting into episode 9 of Tyler Perry's Ruthless review. So the episode starts off, it's so crazy that I'm really like so late. But anyway, so the episode starts off with the visit is over. Brian and the sheriff have just left, and the highest is like on edge. Okay, he tells his little crew, he tells them that he needs to see the boy. Now, when he says the boy, I'm thinking they mean the boy who got in trouble previously. But no, see, this is a different boy, okay? This is a drug-giving boy. Because why? The highest is out here getting high. Ooh, the highest getting high. But anyway. And I'm shocked, okay? When I seen that, I was shocked. But it's like, I just knew he was getting his flock high. I didn't know he was out here using as well, but it makes sense, I guess. But honestly, I'm just happy he wasn't out here trying to get into some booty, okay? Do your drugs. So after that, it shows Brian and Sheriff, like they're driving back, and the sheriff shares with Brian that he thinks that the Rakadushi people are good people, weird but good. He also shares that while he was there, he did drink some lemonade and he ate a muffin. He also says that they could really cook, but it's like, let's be clear, a muffin is not cooking, it's baking. Let's learn the difference, okay? But anyway, so Brian tells the sheriff that when they get back, like, he's going to do some blood work on him because the sheriff out here acting a little happier than normal, okay? And Brian just wants to see, like, if there were drugs in the food. So that's that. So then we pick up at Malcolm and Sarah. Okay, so Malcolm, the Spanish detective guy, tries to give Sarah a check, to cover her bills, and she keeps complaining that her bills is overdue and whatnot, right? And Sarah, she rejects the check and she says no, she don't want money, she want her husband. So then Malcolm tries to kiss her, and Sarah rejects him, denies him, says no, that was only one time and it's not going to happen again. So, of course, I am confused. I am shocked, okay? Because, one, we already knew that we didn't trust Malcolm, okay? Since day one, we knew something was going on with him. And more so, I knew, which means we knew, that something was going on between Malcolm and Sarah. But an affair, I have said most of the time, I do not think they out here sleeping together. But an affair, Sarah, the fudge, right? So, the question that we have is, when did the affair start, okay? Because one, Malcolm said that he loved Sarah. So therefore, love does not happen overnight. So it's not, it's not a new affair, okay? And then he also shared that, Sarah was basically leading him on because, whenever Andrew treats her like trash, she goes and she calls Malcolm. So that further lets me know, so this is before Andrew went missing, which also lets us know that Andrew been an ain't-is jigger for a very long time. This ain't nothing new, okay? So then, before Sarah kicks him out, because she does kick him out, which is like, okay, Sarah, do what you got to do, whatever, right? Malcolm has the nerve to ask her, well, you're being loyal to Andrew. Do you really think Andrew's being loyal to you? And I'm just confused because, one, I can't stand when people do that. Like, if you ain't got, no juice, no tea, no, evidence to back up your statement, then don't say nothing. And secondly, Malcolm, aka Spanish detective dude, shouldn't you be worrying about being loyal to your wife Cynthia? My goodness, like, does everybody on this show take marriage as a joke? Because I'm just not laughing. So moving on. So Daikon approaches Andrew and gives him a beer. And while they drink it, they bond over them not trusting Brian and, you know, coming to the realization that they need to find out more about him. So as the conversation progresses, Daikon makes it clear to Andrew and us, okay, because we watching too, that he doesn't trust Andrew because the way he questioned or grilled Brian was as if he was a cop. Okay, and you know, of course, Andrew gave his little feedback, like, nah, that's not what happened. Like, you know, I just watch cop shows. Thank you for the compliment and whatnot. And then, you know, they cheers, which was a very awkward and non-trusting cheers from both parts. And then Daikon walks off. Now, when Daikon walks off, Andrew pours out both of their beers. Which is like wild confusing to me because it's like, well, why are you pouring out the beers? Because one, you already drunk it. You know, and then secondly, if you didn't drink it, like, you sure enough didn't wipe off your lips because I know your lips touched it. Like, I seen it, okay? And I just like when acting matches the script or matches reason. Tally and Ruth is, you know, talking to each other, you know, catching up and whatnot. And what we see is that Tally does not share with Ruth about her telling Brian about, you know, their weekly visits to the market on Thursdays, which is like, Tally, is you trying to tell us that you got a little trust issues with Ruth? Because that's interesting. Okay, Ruth also shares with Tally that, you know, she plans to sleep with Daikon and, you know, make him think that he think it's his idea. Tally tells her, well, you have to be careful because, you know, Daikon is in love with the highest. And Ruth says, yeah, I know. That's confusing to me because when did y'all know that Daikon was in love with the highest? Because, you know, they never speak about this before. Like, nothing like led up to them in this epiphany. So I want to know, when did y'all find out? Because I feel like that could be a hole in the script. But moving on. And then at the end of the conversation, Ruth does, you know, she convinces Tally that she needs to go ahead and speak to Andrew because their kids is more important than her feelings towards Andrew. Which is like, okay, we're bringing up the kids. I want to know, do they ever see these kids? Like, are y'all able to be parents to these kids? Because I never see y'all with them. But yeah, y'all always talking about y'all kids. Like, I get confused. Like, are y'all even, y'all, you know, their parents anymore? But we're moving on. So then we have Brian, you know, he comes back home, you know, after, you know, taking the blood work from the sheriff and whatnot. So he comes home and he sees Cynthia there, which is Lynn's cousin, because, you know, we learned her name. We're growing. So anyway, so he sees Cynthia there. And Cynthia fills him in, you know, about how, you know, Lynn took drugs and whatnot. Basically, you know, she went on another trip. And Cynthia kind of blamed Brian in a way. You know, she said that you don't have the kind of wife that you can leave alone. You know, like, you need to find out what makes her happy. You know, like, your job is stressing her out. Like, you know, you can't behave or treat Lynn this way. Which, of course, to me, it sounds like Lynn is a whole liability. Now, we already knew, you know, me and you know, we already knew that Lynn had mental issues. Like, it's clear. The girl just isn't wise, you know. But from their conversation, it sounds like she been a liability, okay? She been having issues. And Lynn, it sounds like people tired because she needs to tighten up. But of course, we've been knew that. Now, maybe they know that. But, yes, anyway, so after that, you know, while Brian is in the shower, Lynn calls Daikon because that's her man. And I really want y'all to be clear, like, all of this is literally happening in like within like 2 or 3 days, okay? Like, you know, from episode 1 to episode 8 that we on, like, it's only been days apart. This is the longest freaking span of 3 days I've ever freaking seen on freaking TV. But moving on. Right, so while Brian is in the shower, Lynn calls Daikon because that's her thing, you know, and she tells Daikon, like, yo, like, you know, I want some more, basically, like what you gave me, you know, I want to meet up with you. And Daikon says, well, come and join, you know, the Rakadushi clan. And Lynn's like, no, I can't. My husband won't let me or whatever. You know, is there some way that we can meet up and you just give me some more? So Daikon was like, no, because you just want to feel good without having to pay for it, right? And then Lynn, you know, she tries to backtrack. And she's like, no, like, you know, I just can't join you guys yet because I need to know more about you. So then Daikon says, okay, well, cool then. I'm going to pull up at your house in an hour. come out. And then he hangs up on her. And I'm like, dang, like Brian is home. Like, what is he doing? You know, but all right. So anyway, so then Lynn gets off the phone and Brian comes in, you know, from the shower. And, you know, Lynn is fake sleeping. Because that's like the easiest cop out, I guess. So, you know, Brian grabs her phone and he calls back the last number that was dialed, which is Daikon. Now get this. So he calls Daikon. Daikon picks up. Daikon doesn't say anything. What I did notice about Daikon is that whenever Lynn calls Daikon, he never speaks first. He's always quiet until she says hello. And he did the same thing in this conversation. So Brian calls him and he's silent on the phone. And Brian is silent on the phone as well. So I'm like, oh shoot, we got two cold-blooded players out here, okay? I like the way they think, okay? Yeah, so anyway, so then, you know, Brian ends up hanging up on Daikon and that's that. So then Brian, you know, he wakes up Lynn and he's like, yo, Lynn, who was on the phone? Whatever, and Lynn doesn't tell him. Yeah, okay. And then Brian's like, oh, okay, so you're using again. And when that man said again, because see, like I said, we already knew Lynn had a past, okay? Because, you know, when she was talking to her cousin, you know, like she had brought up Lynn's past, whatever. And Lynn was like, no, like right there before Brian, like I don't want to speak about it. And, you know, conversation that they just had between Brian and Cynthia saying, oh, you know, your wife is not the kind of wife you can leave by yourself. So we already knew something fishy was going on. But dang, Lynn, you was using. Which means you had a drug problem. Which also makes sense, too, because if you recall, like she did say, like she was in the Navy or whatever freak she was in. She was in that and she was an ex-police officer. And it's like, well, why didn't you continue this, you know, this occupation? But then that kind of makes sense if she was out here using them drugs, you know? Yeah, so that's that. So next we pick up with Tally is finally face-to-face with Andrew and they're finally having a conversation. Now, Tally is fed up, okay? So she come right out the gate talking about some, Andrew, I don't know if I could trust you because, you know, you were a part of the coordination. And then she asked him if he got seated. Now, Andrew is really shocked, okay? Quite frankly, he's tired, all right? Because he don't understand how his business keep getting out here in these streets, okay? What he did, what he was a part of was supposed to be a sacred thing, which means secret. But yet, everybody keep asking him about what the freak happened. So he is just confused, okay? But anyway, so, you know, he admits it. He's like, yeah, I was, but, you know, it wasn't sex. You know, the highest drugged me, and I didn't have a choice. Right? You know, because he says like he couldn't leave because he loves it here and he wants to raise his kids here. Okay, right? And, you know, he also tells Tally that, you know, he really loves her, whatever. He wants to marry her and that basically he gave up everything to be with her. And we're like, Andrew, so you mean your wife and your son? Which honestly, just that and alone is just like, why is Andrew still talking? You get me? Like, why does he keep getting camera time? Like, he's just freaking driving me crazy. Yeah, anyway, so he says that, right? And Tally was like, okay, but you know what the highest did to me. And this fool says, yeah, but Tally, you know you have to behave. Now, when he said that, you know, Tally was done. You know, Tally was like, okay, that was the nail in the coffin. Like, she don't ask any more questions. Like, she quiet. She just saying, okay, all right. You know, he trying to kiss her. She just letting it, you know, be kissed or whatever. Because now Tally knows that, you know, the Andrew she knew is a thing of the past. You know, now she know, you know, what wavelength you on. So now she knows how to follow suit. She know what game she got to play. Right? Andrew also told her about his wife coming, you know, to pay him a visit earlier today. And she's like, oh, I didn't know you had a wife. And he's like, no, I told you. She's like, no, you didn't. And I believe Tally. Okay, so either way it goes. So they close it out and, you know, they depart from each other. Andrew freaking sucks. Like, every episode he just sucks more. Because now you're telling me you're a believer and you ain't even drugged. Like, that's crazy. Absurd. So then lastly, the episode closes out, okay, with Daikon breaking and entering in Sarah's and Andrew's house. Okay, so he's inside the house, whatever, and he calls down because Sarah's like, who is this? You know, who's that? And he says it's Andrew. So then Sarah runs down. And that's confusing as well because it's like, Sarah, clearly that's not your man's voice. Like, did you forget what your husband, you know, sound like? Like, didn't you just speak to him earlier today? But she runs down and she sees his Daikon and then we just end. And what an ending that was. Okay. So let's get into the characters. Okay. So first we have Ruth. And listen, I really need people to pray for Ruth. Okay. Because deciding to go after Daikon is one thing. But deciding that you're going to sleep with him, I don't know, y'all. She just needs some prayers, okay? Because I understand, okay, that women are naturally smarter than men. Okay, we know that. Ain't really no debate. Okay, but the problem with Ruth is that Daikon is not like the average man. So therefore, stop trying to think of him as the average man who's only controlled by his penis. You get what I'm saying? Because the number one rule is never underestimate your opponent. And Daikon, he's something different. Okay, she from the streets, but he from the streets and he from jail. Okay, and he a little evil. So like I said, just everybody pray for Ruth, because I just think she's way over her head. Definitely. Same thing I said last week. Tally is a smart, I really want to say broad, but I don't really talk like that. So Tally is a smart cookie, okay? The fact that she did not tell Ruth about her sharing, with Brian that they go to the market on Thursdays, I loves it, okay? The fact that she was right about Andrew and, about his faith like all this time, and the fact that she played Andrew like a fiddle in that conversation, okay, got him thinking that everything is still sweet and all lovey-dovey between them. It's like, clearly Tally knows what she's doing, okay? And I'm confused because why is she not in the driver's seat making decisions? Because it sure enough shouldn't be Ruth, okay? And also this conversation about this baby, I really need proof. I really need her to take a pregnancy test, because I just don't understand how. Okay, I get it's TV and I know anything is possible with TV, but I just don't get how. And that's it. So, Andrew. Can we skip Andrew because he just sucks? Okay, fine. So, what we learned about this person this episode is that he really believes in this Rakadushi business. He is a true believer, wholeheartedly. And if that is the case right there, well then his lines really need to be tightened up, okay? Because sometimes his lines, this dog is going a little crazy. Dang dog. Maybe I should close my window, but I'm not. We're just going to keep going, okay? Just ignore the dog. So if Andrew is really a believer, then we need to tighten up some of his lines, okay? Because some of his lines shows that he has doubt, okay, as if he doesn't believe. So if we're going to play this role, let's play it fully. All right. Also, Andrew is now aware of the distrust that Daikon has in him, okay? And that leads me to assume, that he's going to be not looking at Daikon as his enemy, because that is a little strong word, but basically he's definitely going to want to keep his eye out for Daikon. And he's probably going to want to make sure he keeps his name clear when it comes to the highest, right? Because Daikon is super close to the highest, and to Andrew, I'm pretty sure he's going to think that, oh, Daikon is trying to plant seeds, throw dirt on his name to the highest. So therefore, in the result of that, Andrew could possibly, in a way, place a wedge between Daikon and the highest, which is a crazy twist if that were to happen. Now, this is just assumption, because I be writing, I can see storylines and whatnot, so it may not happen, but it may be good. And if it did, that would be a good little storyline, just saying. Okay, Brian, I really want to commend Brian for being the only person that I kind of really like on this show. Hey, because Brian is a smart man, okay? He's a calm man, and he is a man who thinks. And that's the kind of man I like. All right, besides my boo Daikon, because I like him too, but moving on. So, I'm really happy for him, as he develops. And I definitely have high hopes for his role, on this TV show with, busting down the Rakadushis and all of that right there. But the sad thing about Brian is that, what they say? They always say a man's weakness is a woman. And sadly, Brian is in love with a fool, okay? And an ex-drug user. Oh, Lynn. So, as we know, because I have voiced it quite a few times, I can't stand Lynn. And since I can't stand her, I feel like y'all can't stand her because we here. Okay, so as we know, I can't stand Lynn, but I will say some of her poor decisions, adds color to the show. Color that we need. Okay, and I am happy to know, because what we learned about Lynn is that Lynn over here on that stuff, okay, and she used to be on that stuff, she hasn't passed. And it's good to know that she's not a believer of the Rakadoochies. She's not trying to join the cult. Basically, she just wants the drugs, okay? And for that, I can respect that a little bit more, okay? Because, she knew about, the evil doings of the Rakadoochies, so that just would have been a complete fool on her part. All right, so anyway, so we know that she just wants the Rakadoochies, for their drugs and whatnot. But this Lynn person is like, all this mess that she's causing, she's gonna make this not be a job for Brian anymore, okay? This so-called job that he has is about to turn real personal real quick, okay? And Brian is going to want to be out for blood. Now, I don't think he's gonna get it, but he gonna want the blood, okay? And also, excuse me, and also too, like, I really hope Daikon do not pull up to their house. Now, of course, we know he's going to pull up to the house, okay? But I just hope that when he pull up to the house, hopefully Brian, he left to get some fresh air because, he needed a little break from his little trifling wife. Or maybe, I just hope, like, he fall asleep, when Daikon comes. But then when, Lynn is outside talking to him, hopefully he be, like, staring out the window, like, watching or, like, can hear and whatnot, because I want him to know what's going down, because Lynn is trifling, she's a liar, and she's not admitting any old thing. Okay, so moving on to the love of my life. No. Moving on to Daikon. Okay, so listen, Daikon is a real one, okay? And maybe that's why I like him so much, okay? But anyway, what we did learn about Daikon is that he is truly in love with the highest, okay? Like, in love. Which makes sense, because remember, like, last episode, I was like, Daikon, why are you here? Is it because you believe in faith? Because you're in love? Like, what? He is in freaking love with the highest, and that's why you hear, okay, got it. I appreciate him because he literally is always watching. Now, of course, we know he always be popping out the shadows, like wherever somebody at, he always just magically appearing. But he's always watching, and like definitely shout out to him, for recognizing Andrew in his cop-like ways. Okay? Even though I actually don't think he was grilling Brian any kind of special way. He was literally just asking him questions as if he was a person who didn't believe him, but I'm gonna let Daikon have that. Okay, I respect the fact that Daikon didn't make a move or anything until the highest gave him the green light. Okay, Daikon really stayed on his toes. Okay, he stayed 10 toes down. All right, and I can respect that. But just popping up at Sarah's and Andrew's house and breaking the innery, that's different. And I love it. No, but but anyway, so with Daikon, it's like, yo, you can take the man out the streets, but you can't take the streets out the man, okay? Because he said if he got a question, he gonna ask it and he gonna find the answer whether you ready to give it to him or not. Moving on to the highest. The highest is over here struggling, y'all, okay? The highest said the people is coming for him. Okay, and he said not only does he need to die, his whole flock needs to die, which is like kind of crazy, because you also know, like, this is clearly not a real religion, because no religion dies with one person. Religion is supposed to live on and on, but this fool said nah, when he go, his whole flock is going and we out. Okay, I do believe that with the highest time to come, like, it's about to be some real tests. Same thing I said last week. He's really troubled because he knows there's a Judas out there in some way, and he wants to find out who this Judas is, so therefore he is going to test his flock. How is he going to test his flock? That's what we need to see. All right, now wrapping this whole episode up. Child, I was into it, okay? As soon as it came on, because within that first minute, that's when the highest was over here getting drugged up, okay? Literally every scene, we got new information, but we got answers finally to our old questions. Okay, now we know that You know, Andrew is a true believer. Okay, we know Daikon is in love with the highest. All right, we know Sarah and Malcolm over here had a sexual affair. You know, we know that Lynn over here was an ex-druggie and she not really down for the Rakadushi. She just want them drugs. You know, we know Tally and Ruth not that close. I don't know, but either way it goes, like, we got a whole bunch of information today, okay, with this episode, and it's great. I'm here for it. I'm still here for the next episode. Definitely tighten up on the scripts, okay, because the script is starting to get a little shaky, you know, so definitely tighten up on that, even though all their episodes is already recorded, so I guess it's too late. But yeah, I'm here for the next episode. I'm excited. Like, Daikon, what you gonna do, man? What you gonna do? So yeah, until the next one, definitely pray for me that I get my review out before the next episode comes out, okay? But yeah, so thanks for watching. Bye.